Hey, what's happening, man? What's happening? We finna go ahead and start this thing off right, man. We finna bring in the guys on here, you know what I'm saying? And this is the Big We Podcast. We are live and direct, you know what I'm saying? I got the guys in here with me. I know y'all have been anticipating this interview between the guys, and hey, I've been getting my time to get to know these guys, and it's some good things happening for the community. It's some good things happening for each individual that wants to have a chance to blossom and grow, you know what I'm saying, and learning and understanding, what this thing is about. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring to the stage my brother Strong, my brother Capone, and my brother KD. Y'all go ahead and talk to these guys and let them know what the Big We is about. We start with Strong here, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, brother Strong, let them know what's going on.
Peace and blessings, family. Ambassador Strong. The big we is about the power of unity. It's about the strength we have when we're able to put our differences aside and embrace our diversity. When each person is willing to contribute all they have towards accomplishing a common goal, it's possible to do anything together. So, with the big we, the idea is to deprogram the self hate, eliminate the negative self talk, and reinstill those values, those hopes, those dreams, those visions. And not only reinstill them, but teach us how to accomplish those things through re education. See, a lot of things have been put into us subliminally. If I said that right, I got excuse me, a little tongue tied. But when we go to school, we're going to school, and you think about this now. You go to school, you have a child. This child is coming from a situation that's less than perfect at home before they get to school. They may not have had breakfast. They may have had fighting going on in the house where they couldn't sleep well. All in all, this kid is unprepared to be at that school setting and to learn. Now, this child begins to see that he's failing on a regular basis, whereas his peers and classmates who have proper nourishment, things of that nature, are advancing. Uh, it's only a certain amount of time before that child stops seeing his assignments as failure and begins to look at himself as a failure. Now, once he begins to see himself as a failure, he begins to feel in competition with those around him who are doing well and seem to always be praised. So now this child has a negative thought process about himself, what he's capable of, where he can go, the things he can achieve. And if nobody intervenes on that track, then we continue to feel the prisons and things of that nature. We continue to bury our babies prematurely. And we allow small things to come between us because I know we're not the only ones to see this vision. We all complain about the things that our children are going through in the community. We all complain about the pay, the living conditions, everything. We have so many complaints, but yet we won't come together to solve these things. We have a million reasons why we can't come together when we have one that should be sucking us all like a black hole. We should
Right.
all be involved in the elevation and the protection and the acceleration of our children and our people. We should
Yes,
never be
sir.
willing
Yes,
to settle
sir.
for less.
Like I don't even know if I want to applaud that or piggyback on it. You know what I mean? Cause like,
I mean, you
hey,
can actually do both though. You can do both though. I mean, you know what I'm
you
saying?
know
You
what
hit
I
all
mean?
points, you
Because
know what I
I
mean?
want the people to understand that the big we is more than just a faction of individuals that's trying, man. Like it's like what the brother Strong got going on in Florida. And I want the world to know that there are opportunities to be involved with everything that you have a complaint. I always say if we got all the complaints, then we got the solutions.
Right.
So if we're gonna talk about these complaints and we're gonna talk about the elevation of our kids, our communities, and things like that, we have to understand that unifying each other with these same courses
Hmm.
of action even if it's your way of how you doing the action, as long as we all stand on the course of understanding that our kids are our future and us as adults have the responsibility and the obligation to make sure they can achieve their highest potential. That's what the big we is about. And you ain't got to be a kid. An adult can be 50 years old and feel like he need to reevaluate his whole situation and the rational concept of thinking so he can make the best critical decisions in his midlife. Hey, that's what we here for. You know, men supporting men group, women supporting women groups. Brother Strong got the brothers and sisters things going on with West Central Florida right now too. So these are opportunities for brothers, sisters, white, black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, juniors, seniors. We don't care. You won't be 80 years old and give us your testimony. Because if you give us your testimony at 80 years old, you got a solution to every testimony. The big we want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
We want people to tap in, call in, and say, "Hey, man, what y'all think could happen if we woo out the bank?" And I hope people understand that's just my lingo. I'm sorry, I'm from Chicago.
Nah,
Hey world, how
you
y'all doing? I'm K Dog too.
good.
Let me introduce
You good.
myself. They call me KD, but I prefer Carl. You know, when you get older, you just let go of small things. So I prefer Carl, man, and yeah, that's the mission statement, man. We it ain't just free them all. It's unite us all. It ain't just unite us all. It's teach us all. It's educate us all. It's unifying each other and bringing our differences instead of making them a debate. Make them an equal subject of discussion for solutions. That's why
Right,
it's called the Solution Radio. I love it.
right,
All right,
right, right.
let me jump in and get right back on that. The thing that, going back to when you asked, what is the big league? And it's a collective of, when you look at the brass tacks of it, it's a collective of individuals who've had enough and are
Hmm.
willing to do what it takes to become the change. They're
Right.
Yeah.
willing to stand against the crowd if it means that they're going to have an impact on securing a future for our babies and for
Right.
all of us that make it that far. The big we is about the people that we don't hear about standing up in their families, in their communities for what's right.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
You
sir.
know, like going through the civil rights movement, we had our faces that everybody know that we celebrate every Black History Month. Every
Right.
kid across the world get the same people to celebrate every year. But what about the people that didn't get the notoriety, the people that didn't get publicized, the statues weren't made? What about just the average Joes and Luanns and whoever that stood up in their own neighborhoods that made a difference? Because see, that's what it was. It was a collective effort because we knew what the enemy was.
Say
Right
that.
now, if
Right.
we would get a few dollars, we about our own business. We are downgrade people that we was just in the trenches with,
Mm-hmm.
or we get it and we refuse to pass it on because they don't deserve it. But at the end of the day, that collective, that unity, that understanding what we're up against, let us know that it didn't matter where you lived at, who you were, when you were being hated and then targeted for the same thing, and you understood we had to come together. It wasn't a choice. There was no ifs,
Mm-hmm.
ands, and buts about it. We had to do it in order to survive. And right now, because the enemy is one of, I want to say we're suffering from the mental chains
Mm.
that are down now, and it can't be seen. It's even harder to bring about the unity because we can't pinpoint the enemy. We can't pinpoint the objective. We can't agree on that. But that's the beauty of the we, because the diversity in its component, the diversity in its membership
Mm-hmm.
equals our diversity in our approaches to attacking these problems. We can
Right.
work on several fronts at once because of our collective efforts towards that common goal. We go from
Right.
this to this, each one doing its own part, but we come together as one and move as a unit. I'm not telling you to
Mm-hmm.
do what I'm doing, but as long as you're doing what you say you can do, you know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing because we're men and women of integrity. We know we're going to get to where we're trying to go.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Right.
You
Yes,
Right.
know,
sir.
because we plan things. We no longer walk blindly. See, this is what we about the waking up, the mental exodus for the people. It's time to leave that old mindset that has landed us so many times in penitentiaries, landed us in early graves, outside of our homes, away from our children. It's time to stop that type of thinking. We keep doing the same thing, want different results. You
And you know
chasing the
what?
bad when you are the bad. That was,
Right.
go ahead, brother. Go
No,
ahead. I'm
no,
sorry.
no, no. Because you know what? You said something so powerful right there. It's like how you supposed to turn away from it. Capone said something the other day, not too long ago, and I hope he
Mhm.
expound on it a little bit more. He said something when we was on the phone the other day to the point of like, what's wrong with telling the person walking around with a gun is probably one of the most stupidest things in the world. And then you have to understand the thought process of the adaptation of how cool people thought that thing was in life. If we let
Mhm.
go of the narratives collectively as well, we'll start making the right decisions, knowing that this is actually wrong. You know,
Mhm.
we say we want to be law-abiding citizens and we want to be part of society and social develop as human beings and elevate ourselves in knowledge and wisdom so we can have a crown point of understanding to know even what God talking about sometime if you're listening to the whispers. We say we want all these things, and the people need to know that, well, the things that we thought was cool and we bought up and we glamorized and things like that, we might want to start calling each other out on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what?
You
You know
know,
what it's
maybe that
But
might
it,
break the
but
mental. That might be the start of breaking a mental brainwash to let certain things go. Because everybody swear up and down the pimp game was the shit. This nigga 70 years old still dressing like that right now, looking at your girl.
I guess what I'm saying is, you know, what I'm saying we in an age of a lack of accountability for wrong
Yeah,
and right. When people know the difference between wrong and right, but it's that lack of, you know, I know I'm wrong, but I'm still gonna go and do this. You
because
know what I'm saying?
everybody else is, brother.
Yeah,
Because
here.
yeah.
everybody else, it's majority of the people saying this is right, and if that dude ain't doing that, then he's a lame, he's a square, and you're gonna be considered with that too. And instead of dudes say, well, let me put these glasses on to be the smart lame dummy y'all calling me.
Hmm.
They mold themselves and blend in. These kids in this generation didn't see no projects from Chicago. We took them out of there and they tore them down, so we had no other choice. But a lot of people took their kids up out of them projects and they still chose the streets. You know why? You know why? Because the project never left that person. Okay. So we still
Hmm.
start teaching our kids that hustle mentality game that everybody is a lick. Everybody need to be hustled on. Oh, if that nigga open the business up, you gotta tax him in your neighborhood. We led them straight into the things that we was trying to move them away from. We didn't monitorize what they was watching like we was getting monitored. You couldn't turn your TV on at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night in bed. Mama hear that TV click, you come in there get, your issue. We did not pass the ball in discipline and talking to our kids and teaching these kids that, hey, yeah, I had to do these kind of things. You don't. You don't live there no more. Instead of doing that, we let them go. We ain't in the hood no more, so they can just go and do what they want to. They gonna make the better choices. They around a whole bunch of nerds. Now that mentality is still up in them that you got that you took them away from, and they finna turn that whole neighborhood into a project again.
See, you know what? You know what though, fam, and this
Yeah.
is very true what you're saying, and I wanted to go back a little bit when fam said
Okay.
it's a lack of accountability.
Yeah.
Um, what I truthfully think it is it's kind of like when you're a kid and you're afraid something's in the room and you cover your head because that's gonna make it go away. Um, I think that people are not acknowledging because you're held accountable whether you acknowledge it or not, because life will hold you accountable because you're gonna have
Mm.
to suffer the that you make. Now, if you don't acknowledge it, then you can't move on. This is where we say awareness gives you the opportunity to prepare yourself to have knowledge gives you the ability to build upon it. So when we do this re-education program, we don't point fingers, we turn on lights. So I'm not going to tell you what's wrong and this is this and this is that. What I want to do is spotlight it because everything has duality. There's a positive and a
Right.
negative. Somebody agrees with it, somebody disagrees with it. The key is to find a balance. Now,
Mm-hmm.
once you understand that in your whole life, you're making choices of adding to or taking away. These are how we move forward. You know, there are things that you have to subtract from your life, like bad habits, in order to move forward. So there's a negative,
True.
which is also a positive because it increases your health. So it's different things that we have to look when we start to see things in full circumference, when we can look all the way around and see the good and the bad of it and understand if our why, and this is also within our introduction manual, our why. This is why we do things. This is our reason. This is our motivation. This is what's going to
Hmm.
keep us driving. Even when times get their toughest, this is what's going to keep us going. Everybody has a why. And when you have that why, if it's not stronger than the dedication it's going to take to see it through, then you're going to go for a couple weeks and then you're going to stop and then you're going to say, hey, this doesn't work. This is one of the biggest
Right.
things we suffer from when we try to come together to get solutions is everybody's arguing because nobody said, hey, yeah, we're going to go with your idea. A million brilliant ideas came to the table. And instead of us, hey, let's work through them all. Let's all unify and try this one. And as we eliminate, we know what doesn't work. As we move on, we get closer and closer to a solution, hopefully. And if none of
Mm-hmm.
it works, guess what we just did? We just eliminated all those possibilities. We're that much closer to where we're trying to go. Perspective. So,
Right.
depending on how they're seeing things, they won't see a need to change. But if you can spotlight some things and show them to where, hey, look, this is what's going on every time you do this. So instead of getting emotional and acting erratic, let's teach you how to be proactively reactive. That means your next step is
Mm-hmm.
closer to where
Hmm.
you're trying to go. This is when
Hmm.
we step into our 8 rules of conflict resolution. Hey, I know I'm not getting on. Let me run through my rational check and make sure I'm good. Let me check my attitude. Let me see if what I'm thinking really happened, and then I can advance. Let me go speak to this brother before I feel like, hey, there has to be conflict.
Right.
May just be a total misunderstanding. All of these
Mm-hmm.
things doing away with all of the little things you've taken from subliminal message that have been implanted into what we call a culture.
Right.
What
You
about
have to.
what
Oh, go ahead.
about
Go ahead.
like oh that was Trope or Dave? Somebody was saying something. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh no, that was Dave. He had jumped in and out, but I had a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna add to that, like the culture of entertainment, along with, you know what I'm saying, what's going on with everything in the community has a big impact. I mean, we see it every day, and as being who we are, we want to change the narrative so much, but it's just it's saturated with this. We lack
See,
demonstration.
so
We lack. I feel like we lack demonstrations on certain situations. You feel what I'm saying? That's
it's
just
not
Now,
my
that the
opinion.
narrative. It's not that the narrative needs to change, and in case of we, it really does. But like you said, the demonstration is it's a lack of demonstration right now. What I'm saying, as far as the narrative,
Hmm.
like you're saying, spotlighting things. I think I do that a lot too. Spotlight things that ain't working, and this why, and boom, boom, boom. So now, what's the solution? But the individual has to change himself and change the narrative within itself and spread the change of himself according to changing the narrative within himself. Then maybe, like we trying to do, infect the world with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? One virus can destroy a whole nation, or one antivirus can cure it.
Right. Right.
So we just have to understand that the diversity of us all counts for something. Oh man, you stupid, and that's the problem. It's almost like a political ring of people just bickering with each other. The House of Representatives, you're stupid and you're stupid. We should do this and we should do that. No, like Strong said, let's do what he talking about. Let's do what he talking about. We'll think about you. You cool. We on that too, and let's all work together with it. That's the problem in politics right now. Ain't nobody willing to work together and let their egos go. Okay.
Just
Plus, that shit corrupt anyway. But I'm just saying, we have to think about these kind of politics within our world because they've affected our world with a political thought process too. So we have to become political aware of what we need to vote for, who we need to vote for, who we need to deal with, and why aren't we creating our own people to vote for? See, these are things like fam say, spotlighting on and
Right.
changing the narrative on. And this is why the junior ambassadors are so important
Oh,
with the
and
world.
speaking of that, we go
Yeah.
all the way Big We All Stars. That's the tykes and the little ones. We want to start teaching them family and community value early. Because the thing is that when we all went in the house and closed our blinds and shut our doors and stopped being in the streets because we thought that was the answer,
Yeah.
what we did is we closed the doors and forgot our. We thought we were the bad ones. See, they convinced the situation convinced us that we were the bad one. I'm not gonna say they because it's a long process that has been in motion for a long time, and the seeds that planted that have bore fruit is all of this stuff. And see, when we want change, like you said, it's saturated, it's so heavy. But the one
Mm-hmm.
thing I know is a pinhole of light destroys darkness.
Right.
If we
Right.
continue to always look at things as David and Goliath situation, like the problem is so much bigger than me. You're exactly right, which is why we formed the we. See, the
Right.
problem has always been bigger than me, but it's not bigger than me. You know what I'm talking about?
Righteous.
So,
Righteous.
so when we attack this thing from all these multiple avenues and everybody's doing their part, not he's doing what I think he should be doing, and he's doing he now when we come to the table, it's a potluck. This is what I
Mm-hmm.
bring to the table. I'm a psychology dude. This is what I bring to the table. I research, I search, I do da 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 da. We got all this. This is what he brings to the table. He's a mathematician. This is what he brings to the table. He's a carpenter. He's whatever we got, we bring to the table. This is our economical value. Because see,
Right.
the richest and the most valuable thing we have is the people. No
Mm-hmm.
matter how you want to slice it, chop it, cut it, whatever, take away the people and what are you left with? The people
Nothing.
add
Sir,
value to
Mm-hmm.
we add value to we make Mercedes more than Chevy. We make Ram more than Ford. It's we put all these values on these things and then or other people said it, then they pump you full of commercials to make you think that you want something you've never had before. So why do you desire it so badly? You
Right.
don't even realize this. It's gonna make my life better. I gotta have this. I work 40 hours. I'm saving money. I'm killing myself. I'm gonna get this, and then I realize I got myself another bill. I don't even use that much. What I got it for? I just worked 3 years to get this, and I don't even want it. I don't even know
Mm-hmm.
when the seed was planted, but I know I had to have it. Look
Right.
around your house. I'm pretty sure everybody can see one of those if they just look around the room they sit in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when we start to understand the programming, if my brain is being programmed everywhere I go, it's mine. Why
Right.
ain't I
hmm
programming it like that? Why am I not putting the things inside of me that can take me where I want to go?
Right.
Huh? That simple? You mean to tell me? Yes, that's what they call degrees and all of that. There's a roadmap to get what you want. And these people follow that roadmap, and at the end, they get stamped and they get a degree. Guess what? That same roadmap is accessible to you for free.
Right. Right.
Now, if you learn how to use it, we know where the tools at, but we don't know how to use them. This is where the diversity comes in at somebody in the circle knows how to use it.
Right.
Somebody in the circle knows how to deal with it. Especially when the
Mm-hmm.
circle is global. Out of 8 billion people, you're telling me we can't reach anybody?
Right.
And see, the thing is, I'm not gonna lie, brother. I expected a whole lot more involvement and support when this idea came forth of unification, especially with the things that were going on, the amount of kids that were dying, the amount of poverty that was going on, the hardships right after the pandemic, everything.
Right.
Unity was key. Coming together to help us get over this hump was so important. So when the idea came out that, hey, brothers and sisters, look, let's all move as one. Y'all bring what y'all got to the table. We can move forward in this thing. Nobody is bigger than anybody because everybody is contributing what they have. If I can help you get to the best of your craft and you can help me, then so be it. We're gonna do this for each other. Let's push.
Mm-hmm.
And we got hit with so much slack about who said this was okay. I'm sorry, my guy, but if you need permission to save your baby, if my
Right.
son come to me and tell me, Daddy, I'm in trouble, and I say, hold on, let me call the land and see if they gonna say okay. By
Hmm.
all means, take me out on the sidewalk and make me bite the curb and stomp my head in.
Right.
I'm sorry, bro. Take me behind the barn and shoot me. Before I ask anybody, can I save my baby? I kill myself. And that
Hmm.
ain't no hit suicide. Don't nobody kill yourself. That shit's horrible. Have fun. But that's the whole thing. I cannot understand when people tell me, bro, listen, you feeding the kid. Who told you you can give them sandwiches? Man, listen, where y'all dudes come from? Y'all need permission to help people? Y'all need permission to do what's right?
Huh.
Yeah.
Listen here, soldier. If that's the way you feel, this ain't the fight for you. It ain't for
Right.
everybody.
Right.
But it is when you get ready, you can come on when you realize that you are worth living for. Let alone the other lives you done brought into existence. You worth living for. You worth getting involved. You worth standing up and say, hey, I'm gonna stand with my brothers. I don't want you standing behind me. That's how knives get stuck in your back. Stand with me.
Right.
You know, it's all good. Hey, I want to see your face shoulder to shoulder, bro. I'm standing with you. Don't
Hmm.
trip. If I fall, hey, pick me up. If you fall, I got you.
Hmm.
But we'll never
Hmm.
stand in each other's path and
Hmm.
become stumbling blocks or impede each other's way.
Right.
I'll leave you
OG.
alone before I try to make you think.
OG Capone. Mute your phone for a minute, G.
Oh, so,
Sorry
hey,
about
but
that, people. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we gonna keep it rolling. Sorry about that, brother Strong. We gonna keep that thing rolling. Keep it
yeah,
going, brother. Keep
yeah.
it going. Keep it
But
going. They need to
that's
hear
it
this.
though, man. It's all about, we have to decide that we're gonna step up, man. Within ourselves, like I tell people all the time, you might not be a community activist. You might not be somebody that's gonna go out there, pound the pavement, knock on doors. That might not be your thing. But this is
Right.
what we're talking about. Those people that were behind the scenes doing, even if you go to a Broadway production, it's the people behind the curtain that's making shit
Mm-hmm.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you back there just getting your life together, even if you're making sure you're good and your family good and being more active with the children, you're securing your neighborhood. You're
Right.
passing on the jewels. See, this is why we call bridging the gap what we're doing now. Because
Right.
Yeah.
at some point, the information stopped being passed on. This is a relay race. If the
Right.
baton fails to be passed, we stuck where we at. We become stagnant because we keep repeating the same cycles. And that's what we've been doing for the last umpteen years. So now when we come back together as an awakening has started to happen, yes, it was the internet is one of the most chaotic things in the world, but it's beautiful in the fact that it has allowed brothers, like-minded brothers and sisters, to identify one another globally. So
Mm-hmm.
as all of these pieces begin to migrate together and understand where they fit in the puzzle by simply accepting who they are and trying to not become, but become aware of the highest version of themselves and choosing that over what they've been taught and subjected to so long. And listen, man, this thing could be so beautiful if everyone would play their post. Be who you
That
are, control what you have.
but I gotta jump in right there. That's the problem. A lot of people
Not
want to play other people's positions. You
watch
feel what I'm
this.
saying?
If,
But
if
yeah, I
it's
mean, I
your
just wanted to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying?
watch this. I'm sorry. Listen, man, this is what I'm. Hey, for anybody watching, this is how I get down when I get excited. Is look, it's not a problem when you're able to see what's happening. Okay, I'm gonna give you a story, and it's actually in one of our books that's coming out, by the way.
Okay.
The story about Chinese bamboo. Now, with Chinese bamboo, when it's planted, it's one of the most strongest and durable. It's used in construction, all it says. So you have to water it and keep watering and keep watering it, but it doesn't sprout for 5 years.
Hmm.
So for 5 years, you have to consistently pour in nourishment and care to something that's showing you no sign of reward,
Right.
no sign of progress. You can't see it. So in your mind, if you are unaware that it takes this 5 years to grow, you're gonna think you're wasting your time and you may abandon that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bad seed. It was no good. But see, then there are those that say, hey, I planted it, I have faith, it's gonna grow. I'm gonna keep on pouring into it. This applies the same to an individual. You think that Your seeds are falling on deaf ears. You think that you're not getting anywhere, you're not breaking through, you're not doing that, so you abandon it. And that's what we've been doing.
Right.
Abandoning those that don't show immediate signs of progress. Not mind you that hey, when I came to this awareness, I was 48 years old. So it
Right.
took me 48 years to get it. I got this 16-year-old. I'm yelling in his ear one afternoon, and now I'm through dealing with him because he don't want to listen. He
Right.
can't get it.
Yeah.
I'm the problem, not that young man.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Ain't
He's
We
an
nobody
got
else.
brother
overgrown.
David in here.
He's an
You can't let
overgrown
it go.
bush that needs to be pruned and brought back to realize what he is. He
Right.
don't know what he is because he's been allowed to grow wild. So we got to cut him back a little bit, show him where his spot is at. This is what we OGs got to do to these youngsters out here. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
scared of them, I understand why you're not doing it. But these my kids, and like my old man them used to say, before I'm scared of you, boy, I lay you in that dirt. That's the guy I am.
That's
Mm-hmm.
just
This,
flat out, man. And I don't think these kids actually they so busy targeting themselves and shit. You know what I mean? Cats like us,
Yeah.
we get caught in the crossfire of certain things, man, because we the peacemakers of things, and sometimes you might just want to go ahead and keep it moving, man. We have to know it's like the saying you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and things
Oh,
like
yep.
that.
Yep.
Sometimes you just got to stay out of these cats' way, man, and let nature take its course according to how it's gonna go. But at the same time, man, we always look for that one little light bulb that's inside that clique that's always in the back. He might be in the middle, but he in the back really looking at everybody and don't want to be there for real. He just
yeah,
going along because maybe one of his homies with him. Them be the ones that I look for because that's the leader. He see
Mm-hmm.
everything, so he coordinate things according to how he need to move so he can stay safe. He might be making the wrong decisions by hanging with him, but if we can just grab him right before he make that wrong decision, whew,
Mm-hmm.
and give him what we've acquired in this time frame, in 20 years, that boy might be president. You know what I
family.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
We
What
got
up,
You
brother
know
man?
what
David.
I mean?
We got
We
brother
gotta
David
know
in the
which
building.
ones to grab. It ain't that we turning our back on them. That little young man gonna turn their whole life around if we can get the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to help him change his own. They just gotta want it.
Yes, sir.
So we
Right.
still end up picking up the whole crew.
Mm-hmm.
We can get them. We can get them. We just got to get that one. Got to get them. You got to find them. You got to look for these youngsters, man. That's why I walk past these kids. People be like, well, you got to cross the streets when you do. Nope. Start speaking to them before you walk up to them. Hey, what's
Right.
going on, man? Y'all cool? Oh, yeah, OG, how you feeling? What the best? You done calmed them down before they even had a reason to think, let's play the knock 'em out game with this old man.
Yeah.
You done
Yeah.
calmed them down before you ain't got to cross over. It depends on the energy, but they walking, you ain't no cow, you know that. You know these dudes trying to prove a point to you. You know, you might just knock out a couple of them and get stomped on or whatever, but start speaking first before you even get off into your old man thought like, shout, y'all better move out my way. I'm an old man walking through here, show some respect. Age don't acquire respect. Your body language do, how you present yourself, how things like that. I start
Mm-hmm.
speaking before I even walk up on them. One of them might recognize you. Oh, what's up,
Mm-hmm.
OJ, man? Go on, get up off of that dumb stuff. Dude, cool as fuck, dude. I go through that now. Shawty done be
Yeah.
all outside in Lima. People think Lima just, boy, them country boys will leave you in a cornfield out here. You just have to, and they walk around with their little things just so open and they whole banana clips popping out. Like, we didn't walk around like that. You're the
Right.
target, young man, but since we don't walk around like that, we're the target. It got to the point they see me, they might tuck it like, hey, my bad, OG. I'm just, hey, man, y'all doing what y'all got to do, man. Just, kids be out here. Oh, no, no, I'm going to get my man. Well, okay, but I prefer you not to. Let me holler at you for a minute. Oh, OG, I got about 10 minutes, man. We end up sitting there 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Take something out of them.
Right.
Try to take some of that aggression out of them and let them know they're not soft because you took some of the aggression out of yourself. It actually made you dangerous knowing who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on it myself. So hey, I learned from experience within myself. These are the elements. This is why the individual book is going to be so important because it's going to teach people to deal with the individual and then come to the collective.
Right.
Mhm.
Hmm.
We
Well,
working.
we gonna kick
See
it
what
over to
else?
brother David. Little David just stepped in the building. You know what I'm talking about? Peace and blessings to you, brother. You know,
Blessed be.
unmute your mic. There you go.
I
How
did it. Hey, blessed be the day.
Yes,
you doing,
sir.
brother? You doing all right?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I was just sit back, and listen. I had to step away for a minute. I came back because I had to get some things together before I could actually stay on. Now I'm able to stay
Okay.
on with you. Okay. Now
Okay.
I'm here with you. I was just listening and I understand. These are all of our journeys together, and we've been through these journeys together. We've been through these
Hmm.
trenches together. We've been through the battles. We've been through the spiritual building together. And I
Mm.
understand. And the things he's saying about these youths is true, which is a lot of things the way to read. There's many ways, and alternatives to actually reach those youth. We just got to
Hmm.
find what their passions are.
Right.
You
Mhm.
find what their
Right.
passions are, then now you had them interested. And then sit down and listen.
Hmm.
Find out what they're good
Hmm.
at. So saying you tied on to that. Now they gonna open up. They friends gonna open up because they gonna see somebody took time to understand them as an individual,
Right.
not as a whole. Then once you get the individual, now you got the whole.
Right.
Because others
Exactly. Exactly.
know how you open him up because they gonna come along anyway.
Mhm.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, I actually
Hmm.
do it every day, so I know what you mean. These are things I deal with every day. With everywhere I go, I wind up running to a bunch of these young guys, standing on the stove corners, stand on the corner. I might stop and go grab a bunch of pieces, and they be like, "Man, what's this for?" I just want to sit down and talk to y'all for a minute. Let's go over these little few pieces and talk about it. Y'all got a
Hmm.
few minutes at a time. And once they open that door, give me the 10 minute at a time. The rest is history.
Right.
That's it.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Now you get their
Right.
attention. Once they got their
Very much.
attention, what I'm saying? Now is opportunity. And that
Right.
opportunity is trying to train their mind to capacity their thought thinking the way I'm thinking in life and show them a better way of finding themselves. Show
Hmm.
them finding
Hmm.
self, seeing self. Let's call that man in the mirror or that woman in the mirror that we built together a long time ago.
Right. Right. Right.
Mhm.
Make
Right.
the admission.
Right.
Failure is not an option.
Not
Failure
enough.
definitely,
Never an option. Nah.
failure is
And
never
that
an option.
and that was one of the reasons why I created this platform. So, because it was, it's for exactly what you speaking on for the youth, and as the big we also, they can come along and learn more as I've been learning, because we never get too old to learn anything from
Oh no.
anybody. You know what I'm saying? We always in that process of learning, and people seem to forget that, or they had that arrogance, so they be like, "Oh, I know it all. You can't tell me nothing." And you know what I'm saying? We do run into stumbling blocks when we out here, trying to talk to the young brothers and nothing. Hey man, you can't do that. Hey man, come here. Let me holler at you for a minute. Let me tell you something on this side over here. This is the ups and downs of what choices you make out here in the world, because right now it's in hysteria. People don't see everything that go on. They don't broadcast every little crime that go on in the communities. They don't broadcast that little baby ain't got no food. They don't broadcast about these families that lost everything because of violence in the communities that we trying to stop. You feel what I'm saying? They don't speak about. They only let you know what they want you to know. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
So,
And
so
this
what do
one,
you do? Oh, I'm
sir.
so sorry. No, no, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying this is one of the platforms. This is why I created the platform, to let people know and give awareness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not only in entertainment, but also in every home and every community, because a voice does have a choice. You feel what I'm saying? A voice
Yeah.
does have a reason to say something. Your voice does matter out here in the world, but people, there is dormant. They don't have that energy, and we need to project more energy out. This is my opinion. I'm just speaking. This is my
Keep on.
that we need to inject more energy out into the atmosphere, that you can say something. Don't be afraid to say, hey, that's not, you can't do that, or you know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking to the public in general. You know what I'm saying? We don't lie for the people. You know,
Yeah.
and
And you
that
know, you have to understand we have to choose our battles wisely when we do put them glasses on and step into somebody else's way of life and how they living. That might be all they know. Once upon a time, a lot of people couldn't tell me nothing, but I did listen. I used these values that people gave me a long time ago. Right now, today, when I wasn't listening to them, now I understand why they was trying to give it to me. They might have seen something in me I ain't seeing myself. So
That goes that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Uh, that seed was planted. You thought they didn't give it to you. You thought you wasn't listening, but it was
mhm,
there. So you took it without even knowing. So
right,
mhm,
it took time to root and manifest, but it did that. But going back to what you were saying about we need to put more out, we need to put more out, put more out. I love that and I stress that, but here's the key to that.
okay,
It's gonna take all of us. So you can have six brothers in a room and two of them trying and striving to be all they can be.
right,
Two of them. So that means you got four of them that's dead weight. They not trying, they content, they not doing nothing, they not moving. And it's like with these two brothers, how is it that they should take on more? You should do more, you should do more, you should do more to encourage these four brothers.
mm-hmm,
See,
That's
mhm,
right.
this is the problem that causes a lot of people to burn out because they take on so many things
mm-hmm,
attempting to carry somebody else's load when they should have been teaching them how to fish. You know, it's
mm-hmm,
okay. I'm gonna feed you today while I teach you how to do this. Now, if I see you going to the lake and you not catching nothing, you doing exactly what you've been taught, you to win and learn some stuff on your own, and you out there and you just not catching, then you still welcome at my table to break bread. But if
right,
I'm giving to you and I'm teaching you and you refuse to take this, but you showing up at my house every day when you know it's dinner time, eventually that door gonna be locked. Most
right,
sooner than
mhm,
later.
mm-hmm,
Because it's not about being somebody's fool. It's not about being taken advantage of. It's about being a resource for those around you that
mm-hmm,
does have its limitations because you have to take care of self. You have to
right,
put into yourself. A lot of times we burn, I know personally, and these brothers online too, burning that candle at both ends constantly. Sometimes we don't sleep at all.
yeah,
We've been
Yeah.
on the phone. We've been on the phone to the point like we started at 4 o'clock talking about we were gonna get off the phone, and it's 4 o'clock the next morning because we
mm-hmm,
building. We can't leave the line. Like
right,
this is sharpening, iron sharpening iron. We on each other. It's real love, bro. Like if you messing up, you gonna get told you messing up. If you lacking, you gonna get told to step up. If you
right,
ain't nobody, failure is not an option. This is serious. It's not playing. Don't
You
get me fight if you're not serious.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
know, we have
We
so
don't
many
need
things and aspects in our way, brother. You know, that's causing us being hindered. And those things that we consider, and I'm gonna say, when I look at what do we call an enemy? You know what I call an enemy? I call an enemy to me personally. Y'all, just follow me. What I mean by enemy? When we identify a real true enemy, and these are three things I can identify as a true enemy. Hate is one of them.
right,
If we can conquer the hate from each other and from others, from hating each other so much, that's the biggest enemy we fight every day without even realizing. Pride is another enemy.
mm-hmm,
These are enemies, no saying, that destroys a nation. Unification to save a nation, but those kind of things that destroys a whole culture in a nation. You
mm,
know,
Mhm.
and pride and hate and fear, which ain't even false accusation appearing real. You know, we know that, we
Mhm.
understand it, but those three enemies, if we look at the spiritual realm, and of the realm of the individual, because you don't know those things that can destroy a whole culture. Those three things can destroy a whole nation, destroy a whole family, everything. We got to overcome those obstacles in order to find replacing with passion, with peace, passion, love. We replace
mm,
replace those things. You know,
mhm,
with those things, and patience is one main thing we need. We run out of patience too fast for individuals. We run out of patience too fast. Anything we do, we got to learn patience more. And find more love for
mhm,
one another, not so much hate. And we
mm-hmm,
could we could do we could replace those enemies. We can conquer anything together. That's what makes us stronger together. That's why I call the
right,
big we. we are stronger together. That's what I consider those. We can overcoming those obstacles. You know what I'm saying? That to bring us together, unify us as one culture, one nation, one people. You know, that's just my
Right.
opinion. You know, but it has worked for
I'm
me.
not.
So I can say,
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely it. And the thing is going back to what bro was saying was teaching people the value in self, starting with the youngsters and things. It works with all of us. We all have this thing that has caused us to doubt, and it's typically when we compare ourselves and our successes to those around us. We have the wrong understanding of what success is and where value comes from. We seek value in the minds of others when we should be looking for it within self.
that's
There's
right.
Find
it's like
self and become. I always say find self, work on self, work on self, find self, do for self, and become selfless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
that's
mean?
exactly
Mm-hmm.
because
Because at the end of the day, we start become thinking about all this self stuff. We could become selfish and fall short of our own glory and taken away from our own charity of our own hearts. So we focus on self to become selfless, to give what we can in a self in a selfish environment. You know what I mean?
understand most
Mm-hmm.
is that
Mm-hmm.
understanding where you've been brainwashed at, understanding where you're doing things that don't make sense. When you evaluate yourself, the most valuable piece of equipment you have is self because you operate everything. You're the father or the mother, you're the sister, the daughter, whatever roles you're playing, without you, those roles don't get played. So
Hmm.
have to take the time to reach your fullest potential. How do you do that? By spending a lot of time in the mirror, not by pointing at other people, by spending time in the mirror. Going into
Mm-hmm.
our introduction manual, there's a section called the who. Why is it important for us to know who? Because when we understand who we should be working on, who's to blame, who made the choices
Mm-hmm.
that got us where we're at, then we understand who's going to have to become the change to get us up out of here.
Right.
Let me bust that down for those online or listening to the radio that hasn't uh actually took the pledge. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the who, the introduction part of the manual. Okay, the introduction. It's so much that we can really choose from with this thing, man. Especially with the who we are, the food for thoughts. Okay, division isn't the answer. I'm just going through it balance because we was just talking about the balance thing. It's like we're opening up almost a Bible for me sometimes because I goes up in here, okay, and I evaluate certain things that I'm going through and putting my own self in the category of what other people are going through that reflects on the same psychological path that we already speculating on.
That's so
You know what
important.
I mean? Like okay, awareness who? Yes, it is true due to our lack of control over others or the environment, we can't always control what happens. However, we can control how we respond and perceive. By understanding our roles in any given situation, remaining disciplined, taking accountability, accepting responsibility, and maintaining our dignity and integrity. Okay? Then that's just speaking on the awareness who part of the situation. You see how all this stuff reflects with each other
Yeah.
Yes.
on how we can become the best. Awareness how the phase is what brings everything together and is the blueprint of our actions moving forward as individual and as a collective. Our
Mm-hmm.
how can be viewed or considered the action plan for our goals, whatever they may be or whatever levels it's on. Without a clear understanding of how we plan on accomplishing our goals, with close attention to each detail of the required steps down to their most minute detail. This will enable us to make fewer mistakes or quickly identify where they were made. Because of the importance of this step, it is extremely critical that everyone involved in the mission, journey, project, etc. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Awareness how? By understanding it. Okay. How? We plan, we plot, we strategize, we recognize the situations. You know what I mean? See, this is what
Mm-hmm.
I want some of these students to understand when they read these books. Now, when you read this awareness, how put you a small paragraph up under there to see how you recognize your own awareness. And that's when you understand, like what Doc Strong was just talking about, recognizing yourself, working on yourself,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
challenging yourself sometime too. You
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
know,
definitely.
you have to
Mm-hmm.
challenge yourself. And then you become familiar with your rights and obligations of citizenships
Mm-hmm.
by knowing what you want to do with these things and become a part of the diversity that you looking for in your own life. People, I ain't had no father, I ain't had no mother. Hey, we some of brothers, cousins, fathers, mothers, sisters, and hey, we teach it takes a village. This the big we has actually become the village.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's a job to do. You know? I go through
Let's
this
go to
book a
work.
whole lot. It's kind of bent up a little bit now, but guess what? He's still in good condition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want the world to understand that we actually here for you as we are for each other.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a responsibility to them alone, you know what I'm saying, to make that step. The steps are
Oh yeah.
there. What he's saying, the steps is there. All of the seeds and all of the everything that you need is right here. It's in the
That's why
handbook.
he just
You
that's why it said awareness who is you.
right, right, right. To the people that's listening, if
Know
you
what it is, but it's you too.
if it's all right, he laid the whole plan out there to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You got it from the horse's mouth to today. You know what I'm saying? It don't get no better than it. It don't get no sweeter than it. You know what I'm saying?
See, the thing is, if I may jump in, brother, is just like anything else, you're gonna get out of it what you put into it. One
Hmm.
more thing,
Absolutely.
one more thing that I will take out of this book, because what you can basically do and what this book was set up to do is deal with areas that were universal in all of our lives. We
Hmm.
all deal with relationships. We all have rights and obligations of citizenship. We all have to deal with balance. We all have to deal with community unity and things of that nature. We have to deal with people who are going through the same circumstances we are going through. We have to deal with conflicts. We have to set goals. All of these things are in these manuals, not as dictations, but as
Right.
formats for self gain. So
Hmm.
when you have a resource table and you're contributing to the economic value of a people, you have information and things that are provided for everybody, like the sun and the sky. We don't pick and choose who picks this literature up and decides to read it and apply it. We are
Mhm.
open to whoever wants to get it because, like I said, it's about what you put into it. So the relationship between you and this book or you and this program will be based on what you're bringing to it. If you take it
Hmm.
and you begin to look at yourself and you begin to work, we call it becoming a change. You see
Right.
something in your community that needs to be done, there shouldn't be a reason for you to wait on somebody to tell you what to do, but to get into action, the research that needs to be done is, hey, I have an issue, I have a situation. Um,
Hmm.
this is what's going on in my community. Now you have a circle, you have a table of a network of individuals that you can lean on and talk to, and you can bounce ideas off, and they can bounce ideas. Now you don't have to come up with this by yourself. Now you
Hmm.
have a million different perspectives of what's going on and what we can do, and also hands on deck to help you get it done.
Right.
So, and there's different levels to where if you just want to adopt the philosophy, you want to take the pledge, and you want to basically put less darkness into the world. You want to walk according to things and get your house back, get yourself back in balance, get your house back in balance, help get your community back in balance, things of that nature. So be it. Take your steps, work on yourself, do what you got to do until you're ready to step out and take on that ambassador role. You want to become a
Hmm.
peace ambassador. That means you're moving. Anytime you're an ambassador for anything, that means you're engaging. You're going out here face to face. You're shaking hands. You're kissing babies. You're signing out. Whatever you got to do to push the message. You're knocking on doors. You're canvassing. This is what it means. You're setting
Mhm.
up programs. They don't have to be uh the Christmas parade in New York big. You can have a little event that only 10 people come to. Those 10 people were impacted, or one person that came was impacted. It's progress. It's not going to change overnight, but it will change with continuous effort. It will change with discipline and dedication. If we keep pushing, we're going to get to where we're going. This Dove the Victory Mission. Can't nothing stand in the way, I promise you.
Right.
Tell you what, hey,
Right.
hey, what's the saying, fam?
Mhm.
If the most high be with you, who can be against you? Huh?
So Romans, if God is with you,
If that's
who could
with
ever
you,
be
who can
against
be against me? Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, bro. So the
Greater
thing
is
is,
he that is
you?
in me
Nobody
that is
be
in the
against you.
world.
Nobody
There it
join
is.
you.
Yeah. Greater
Nobody,
that's in me that is in the world. Yeah. Yeah.
bro,
nobody could be
Yeah.
the thing
against you. He with you. Put
those
your
If
that
God
trust
don't
in
be
him.
for me, who
He'll
be
be with
against
you.
me? It. Yeah.
those that don't understand what's going on, it's not a brainwash. It's nothing by telling you the true essence of who you are and how important you are and how much power you actually have in self. There's
Hmm.
nothing to tell you that if you join with other brothers, like I said, we've overcome so much with unity. But
Right.
the thing now is you have to truthfully look at why are we separated? The hatred that my brother spoke of earlier, that's one of our enemies. You don't know a person well enough to hate them. You don't know the people that live in your house well enough to hate them. We have momentary interactions with people. At most, you can count the hours you used on them like you was on a forklift or something. It's been used for 70 hours. I done interacted with this brother over our lifespan for 70 hours. I don't know him well enough to hate him. Them moments, we'll hate a person for one situation that we disagree with.
Hmm.
We miss out on a whole person for one situation like we've never made a mistake in our life.
Right.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
we are very I don't discombobulated in our thought process, but it's due to a lack of self. See, we've always had somebody to point a finger at. We've
Right.
always had somebody to blame. A lot of people hate when you tell them that, okay, they put the poison out here. I get it. They put a sign on it that said poison. But the fact they told you don't touch it made you want to touch that shit and you did.
Hmm. Hmm.
You were told what it was. You had people that told you constantly, hey, look, this is dead end. You know how I know it's a dead end? Because I've been there, he been there, he been there, he been there, he been there. And what you gonna do? Oh, I can do it better than y'all. I'm gonna try it for myself.
Hmm.
Now we in your ear, we telling you, but hold on now. There's contributing factors to this.
Yeah.
Because I sit and had a brother tell me, hey, if you want them to get off the corner, you have to give them something else to do. I say, okay, now when I was growing up, we had to work. It didn't matter what a job was because we was kids. You know, we was getting money. We wanted things nice. We had to pay for them if that was the case. So we had to chip in. Whatever the case may be, we did. We did. Now, my parents never went out and got me a job. Never ever went out and got me a job. They never ever went to school and did my lessons. They never ever. I mean, tried to help with homework, but let's be real. The education system wasn't the best for ours. So, in times advancing and the type of stuff we was bringing home, it was like a foreign language to 'em. So it's like,
Right.
okay, there isn't no help to help me get through these school things. I got to figure this one out. And if my siblings had time to help me, so be it. But we got to figure this out on our own. So
Hmm.
this whole time you mapping and you coming up against odds that's slowly chipping away with who you are, slowly making you doubt yourself, slowly making you become afraid of things. And just like in the court of law, once you begin to doubt yourself, you continuously doubt yourself. You continuously put yourself underneath things. Those things that are over your head, guess who's holding them up? You're making them your ceiling. If I only
Hmm.
want to be like him, that means he's my God. I'm trying to be like a dude. I'm trying to walk in his footsteps.
Hmm.
Nah, my brother, you are your
That's the
own
part.
puzzle piece. This brother may be the center puzzle piece, but you are your own puzzle piece that holds value that will. Cause any brother I know that was ever a true leader never wanted anybody to be him.
Right.
He always inspired to be who you are, to become the best version of who you are. That will be an add-on. They don't need two of me. If it gets two
Hmm.
of me, it's gonna get crowded in here.
You're gonna have the same problem.
Yeah, gonna
It's
have
gonna
some.
have
Gonna
the
have
same
double the
problem, bro.
trouble, double the dose. You gonna have the double the dose.
You're gonna have the same problem. So,
Same
in
problem, same
defense,
issues.
yeah, in defense of what was and how it happened and when it came about, I was born in the environment after all that took place. So it was what I saw. Okay. Because if people don't think environment has a lot to do with certain things, it really actually does, because all these states and little districts and things like that has their own educational value of, let's say, stereotype on how they want the people to be. And yes, we could have said, no, we don't want that shit. But when you got people that you look up to, that we so call our leaders and things like that, pick it up and give and say, hey, you got to, then you have to look at the choices that was made. Now, in light of them choices that was made, and you get old enough and you're knowing right from wrong and you want to do better for yourself, now you have the choice to walk away from these things and do better. So you can't even blame them for putting you into a game that you could have chose different from, especially after time has went by and so long of people doing these things, and you was raised that, hey, that ain't right, bro. Don't keep being like them, and don't keep, even from the people that was out there back then. Hey, bro, look, we made a mistake. You know what I mean? Don't be
And
that, and you still do.
you just said
You
it. You
feel
just
me?
said it.
It's environmental.
The ability to
Mhm.
admit that you made a mistake. If you
That's
can't
why I
say,
respect them back then, those back then, because they actually admitted they made the biggest mistake ever, and they feel like they need to make up for it. Fine, cool, and dandy. What would be your next move now, sir? Knowing that you done made this mistake, and I'll take value to that and see if I can produce something. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Mhm.
Katie, hey, I want to say something on that note, bro. You know what I'm saying? I understand where you're coming from, but it also depends, which ones the mistakes you talking about they made. Cause where
Right.
I grew up with all of those that was there, that started all
Mm-hmm.
that. And see
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't consider, what I consider, well, what you saying is a mistake, probably on situations as you coming up, that wasn't a mistake on their part. What they were doing
Right.
was fighting for equal rights. They was fighting for them to drink out that water fountain when they said black person couldn't drink out that water fountain. They said they
Right.
was fighting for the reason, saying that poverty. They wouldn't give us the equal rights, and then clans walk around with sheiks on and telling them that they can't walk across the street or eat in that restaurant. They better not touch that pie. Or they better not step on that grass. Can't go to school and get rocks and bricks thrown at them every time they go to school. So
Yeah.
what they did was, as a kid, they put themselves to came together and created something to fight for the black equal rights with poverty, no social security, saying the elders in our community. So
Mhm.
those weren't mistakes; those are survival moves for them, and those the
And them
ones
are
that
not what I was talking about. I'm talking about the
you said,
wrongs of the doings. And
yeah,
when once you
you
realize
know
that
what they
certain
feel,
things is
that
being
you
put
know
out
what
there,
I'm
you of course you make a defense mechanism and you get better people. You know what I mean? I wasn't talking about why it was put together. I'm talking about as far as the mistakes, the guns, the drugs, and things like that that was picked up. Some of them guys did pick these things up, and those who didn't want to deal with it created what we trying to do right now today. In the light of that, because we had to counteract what was happening to us. You feel what I mean? I'm not talking about the
saying.
brothers that put
I
these things
understand,
together
but
that went
I
through
think
them.
those things got over here. I'm trying to say those drugs got in our community when at the time when we was in no sense in poverty. How they put it in
Somebody
infiltrate,
echo.
put it in the government, put it in our communities. That's where I'm going. This
Hmm.
is how these things got in our communities and how they was picked up because there was always some weak link in that group they used to infiltrate everybody else in the group and became that one that brought that product in there. And they say, no, this was could separate us and keep us from all coming together. That this was a confusion mode. This was a tactic in order to destroy us from coming together. And what they did, they succeeded in it. So it has us in
Hmm.
different directions of life because they don't put these products, these drugs in our community in order to distract us and destroy us. And
Oh yeah.
this, this is where the separation of no saying came from in the beginning of all of these things because someone sold out to them as they dropped it off in our community and said, hey, y'all, they becoming too powerful They starting to stand together. They starting to see what we're really trying to do to them. So let's put this out in there in order for now we can saying distract them and separate them.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
if I can jump in on top of this real quick.
Mhm.
So now that we know that um the drugs are here, the drugs are
Yeah,
here,
exactly.
Mm.
guns are here, drugs are here, the guns are here, the death is here, the poison is here. What
Right.
do we do?
Yeah.
You know, and
Now let's
What's next?
this is the answer.
yeah,
Go ahead. I was gonna say this is what the we and Solution Radio and all of that is here for, and the
exactly.
experiences. A lot of times when history is used properly, it adds value. When it's used as a tool of separation, it causes chaos and confusion. See, so if historical things are being put on the table, then we'll dissect them for the value added, which is if this is where the baton was dropped at, then how do we progress from that point to move it into the direction that I ain't gonna say move it into the direction, but accelerate the
Mhm.
process of where we're trying to get to. Um,
Successful goal setting.
and this is what I was gonna say. We get into the big we, which is the acknowledgement of, do you really want to be here? Because see, a part of anything is actually wanting to be there. A lot of people are a part of things that they've taken no time to understand. They
Right.
have no clue of what the foundation is other than entitled. They don't understand where the mission is going or how it's planned to get there or what key components are needed. So
Mhm.
if you're not interested enough to find these things out, then why be a part of it in the first place?
Mm.
Right.
If
Exactly.
you're not willing to accept the fact that yeah, we've made a few wrong turns in the road, due to a lack of understanding, because there was a huge gap in understanding due to the way
Yeah.
things were as far as who needed to know what. But now that we know better, as far as and this is as people as a whole, which is we thought that hey, everybody get behind our educated people and push them, and hey, everybody get. But as we push these people, we constantly saw when they made it to a certain plateau, they forgot how to reach back.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's like, or they got knocked off and incarcerated or hid below prisons and falsely imprisoned and all these other issues now. And I want to touch on that real quick. If y'all would bear with me, I get the
Oh,
preaching, but
go
I want to
ahead,
say
bro. You
who
got the
is this?
flow. Go handle your business. Handle your business.
Okay. When we talk about the imprisonment of brothers from the 60s and 70s, early 70s and 60s and things of that nature, we have to look at the climate of this country. Now,
Mhm.
when you think about what was going on in this country, as far as the hatred behind skin color and things of that nature, the feeding of rotten food and police brutality, the attacking of dogs, the spraying of fire hoses, you put these children in a constant state of mental duress.
Right.
Mm.
These children are constantly in a state of anxiety. They're constantly in a state of fear. They're constantly put in a state of have to, need to, must. And any psychology student in the world or professor will tell you that is a thinking error. Not only a thinking error, but a criminal thinking error because it's going to cause you to behave in a certain fashion. When you
Right.
feel you have no other hope, you have no other choice, and your back is against the wall, as an adult, we make dumb decisions. What do you think children are going to do? Now we got
Mm.
these
Right.
children out here in this community that feel they have to fight, protect, provide for, and survive long enough to take care of their families and do what they got to do. You
Mhm.
have parents that are being overworked and underpaid so they can't guide their children. And this is where it goes. I say those children are overgrown like weeds, but it's mentally where the chaos is happening at because they're suffering from things like PTSD, personality disorders. They're in a
Yeah, it
constant
is.
state of mental arrest where they're
Yeah.
dealing with grown people. They're dealing with grown men trying to tell grown men how they should be living. Fear of getting whacked if they don't do what's right because of the environment that they in. Because it's
Right.
a dog eat dog
Amen.
world that the government introduced. So now we have all of our brothers and sisters locked up because the government can pull the blanket over their head and act like these kids didn't grow up in a war zone, suffering from PTSD, and made the only decisions that make fucking sense according to their own manuals.
Throw
Larry
them in
Hoover
jail and put them.
is rotting in prison behind a mental disorder. I personally
Yep.
don't give a fuck what he did. The man, how was he gonna be right as a kid under those conditions?
Hmm.
Anybody that was under those conditions, fess up for what y'all did and let them people go, man. That's all I'm
Hmm.
at. It don't make sense, bro. Let's keep it all the way funky. These things, these people are suffering from mental health conditions, and you imprison them, and you still doing it
And the
today. And young men,
only cure they got is to either kill them, put them in penitentiary system, or put them in a nut house for actually knowing something.
watch this
Right.
right here.
Right.
You in prison to be reformed. You in prison to be reformed. How long y'all can keep a person in prison to reform them? If it ain't working, then we need to change the program. What y'all still got it for? What y'all still getting paid for it for? If it
Right.
worked, then release the people that been in there and worked the program 30 times over. How long do it take?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Get these people
I'm
some
still
mental health that
I'm
need
still wondering. I'm still trying to wonder why everybody who have been acquitted of these cases still got them on their background to give these
to
people in the world of value to look at you like you're less just because you caught a case you beat already. It's a
go back
settle.
go back into that handbook and the rights and obligations of citizenship.
Oh
See,
no,
when
no,
you
I
get to
did. Now you know where I'm
when you get to a felony,
because you know what?
Yeah.
on
You
a
Yeah.
feel
felony, guess what you are again? You're a slave. It's okay to enslave you. Now you wonder why it's such a high percentage of you with felonies? Because when
mm-hmm.
the ball drop, then camps is waiting on you. We still
Yep.
must, man. Look, this is another subject. Let me go and jump back to the mental health thing. Yeah. Hey, look, they
No,
got
you good. No, no. Time out. You good. Keep that
Because it
same
all, hey,
energy.
listen,
No, this is
because it
man.
all
No.
still reverts back to the same situation. All these things that you jump in back and forth to, everything being talked about is a door opening to what you're talking about is something else, and it still reflects back to the same situation. It's
all comes
okay.
back to
I
this.
do it a
Yeah,
lot.
It all
you.
comes back
Hey,
to this.
you good.
We
Listen,
You
we know.
good. Keep going. Keep that
these
we
rolling.
these
Yeah,
know,
don't
these
stop that.
we
No.
know that it's a mental stage of things that where they could have a condition that they never had treatment for back then.
Hmm.
Yes.
this is
And
what I'm
then started a school system to teach you how to be mentally fine.
see now.
Yeah,
Now
they
I
never
will
had a
say this right
treatment for
here.
the
Back
condition.
in
They
back
condition
in the
is
day,
they had a
back in the
condition them
day
young
they
guys.
didn't have it.
They
Back in the
did,
day
sir.
they didn't have the information they have now though. All the breakthrough right now today, there's not one of those brothers that will get ran through their profile, get ran through a mental evaluation, and they will
That's
pass.
what I'm talking
Not one
about
of them.
right
Right.
there.
Mm.
Not
So
one.
my
That's
whole
what I'm
thing is,
talking
and this is to the lawyers out there. I ain't telling nobody what to do, but to all you lawyers out there that have not thought about the fact of your client is a mental patient and shouldn't be treated as a criminal patient, just something to look into. I'm just saying.
Now, when you
about.
ask him where he was born and raised, that should tell you, lawyer. Hey,
Yeah.
Hey,
you might be dealing with something. Hey, y'all know y'all did infect these
oh,
communities with this stuff, so these kids had to grow up in these kind of conditions, and y'all talking about military people when the soldiers is really out there. Okay, so
oh, these are trained. Oh, let's go back to that. I'm so glad you brought that up. We
I
got
know.
trained professionals. We got trained professionals that are trained to hunt and go out here and deal with war type situations. And they come back from these situations with tanks and AKs and airplanes for support. They come back messed up with PTSD. Trained
Hmm.
professionals. Now let's flip the script and put a 9-year old in a war zone and take him up until he's 17. What do you think is going on in the mind of that baby?
Trauma.
Mm.
So
Traumatized. Traumatized.
why y'all want to
Traumatized.
keep pointing at these cities and states that are having high crime rates and look at the deviance and all of this type of stuff right there? Backtrack, look to where the seed was planted at, and see what y'all
Oh.
fed at, and then
Mm.
answer the question of why they acting that way. Why they think that the program is set up to fail. See, Until people realize it ain't about color, it's about a system. Until you figure out how the system has you in there like a guinea pig, you're stuck. Stop
Because
looking at the surface. That's the
every color
distraction.
getting a
The
shine.
surface is the distraction. Look deeper. You gotta go deeper. You gotta
Mhm.
go to the psychology behind what's going on.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, you touched on a lot of stuff right here. You touched on a lot of stuff, and the beautiful thing about it is, man, this is awareness. This has been a long avoided conversation. And people have been going around it, around it, around it, but you can't go around it. You're gonna have to face it like everything else. And that's what these
Talk to
people
us,
here,
we talk back.
you know what I'm
That's it.
saying? But see,
Talk
that's the
to us,
thing.
we talk back.
Communication been messed up. Communication,
Hey,
nobody knows how to,
big
like KB
weed,
said
bro.
earlier.
Big
Nobody knows
weed.
how to go. True.
Big
Nobody
weed.
knows how to go up and say, shake somebody's hand like old school. Like I come and shake your hand. How you doing, player? How you doing, partner? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Everything. Get to know who you are. And I was taught from my dad. If
yeah.
a man can't look you in the eyeball and grip your hand and shake your hand, then he ain't no man. Because he can't look you in the eyeball. That determines
Now,
right there what type of man he is. You know what I'm saying?
now let me take this back, bro. I love that. I love the energy behind it, and we've all been told that. But I
Yep.
will say this right here. I'm gonna take that away. I'm gonna take that away and throw that out the door. Um, and here's the key with that is, bro. And
Okay.
stages of development.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can go outside and you can plant 6 apple seeds at the same time, same day, and put the same amount of water on each seed. Them 6 apple seeds ain't gonna grow at the same rate. Each one of them is gonna come and produce at its own time in its own season. There's a
Mm-hmm.
time and season for everything. So whereas when you shook that brother hand and that brother hadn't quite reached that level of looking you in your eyes yet, it's just like a young bull and an old bull. There's a time where the old bull is gonna happen, but when that young bull feel itself, he ready to lock horns.
True
So
story.
don't
True
be
story.
fooled and dismiss the bull because he ain't ready to lock horns yet. When you shake his hand and he don't look you in your eyes, then you tell him why he should look a man in his eyes when he shake his hand. Not
True
because
story.
it makes you less of a man, but it's a sign of respect and that we meet on the level and we gonna part on the square.
Right.
Old
I'm looking
man
you
told,
in your eyes. We both here.
and told me the intentions of a man is in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that's a lot of it. But the intention of
Mm-hmm.
man is in his mind. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna get to know you. This is where we gotta go. We gotta break them barriers. We gotta start talking to each other again. I want to know where
Right.
you from, brother. What you got going on? What you good at? What you into, fam? Don't tell me the same old normal shit, nigga. I mean,
Yeah.
thousand pardons. I'm sorry, y'all hit me in my mouth next
Nah,
time you see me.
I keep
Brother,
telling
I
you,
flip.
you good.
I
No, you
disrespect you real
good.
quick. I use that ginger word. Let's back it up a little bit. Um, no, I checked myself on that one, bro, because we hey, death of a real nigga. We killed him a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's in the book too, I think. If it's not, it'll be in the next one. Um, we it's with the big we, bro. We put the niggas to bed and we doing away with bad bitches. You know what I'm saying? We need ladies and mothers again. We need sisters and queens again. We need brothers and men again. All of that bullshit and these jackets that y'all putting on is causing division, man. This shit is whack. It's played out. Separation, bro. We got to come together if we're going to live, fam. It's too
Mhm.
many. Like my man said, we saturated in negativity. Yeah, pinhole destroys the lightness, but imagine what happens if you hit the switch.
Hmm.
Let's start sparking these fires. Hey, become the change. Bro, I understand how hard it is to stand on your own 2 feet, but you do it every day.
Right.
It don't matter. Even if you're in a room with 1,000 people, you standing in that room by yourself.
Because
I don't
people are
know if y'all can if that register, bro, but if you in a room full of people, you still there by yourself.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it
that
goes
means that hey,
said
your
earlier.
part
A lot of people used to being soldiers and being told what to do. So that thought process, like you saying, elevation and things. Once they realize that they are standing on their own 2 feet and they walk on their own accord, left, right, left, however the situation may be, they'll come around to their own life and sparks.
that's
Mhm.
it. We
Just
keep
take a
feeding.
do it. Once you take the soldier out the ambassador, okay? Take the soldier out the individual and turn him into an ambassador. Watch how he moves.
Hey, you know what, KD? I mean, God, let me jump on that real quick. You don't take it out of him. show him where to file it at until he needs it. See, that's
Sort of,
a lot of people.
sort
A lot of
trying.
people have. A lot
I
of
gotta
people have the idea that
carefully a little bit, but yeah.
yeah, if they're being positive and productive, they look weak. And I dealt with this a lot. I had brothers tell me that all the positive stuff is making them look weak. And in that very moment that a brother told me that, he just don't realize how weak he appeared in my eyes. But I know my opinion didn't matter. But for you to feel like you have to be out here in destructive behavior and chaos and conflict with your brothers and sisters in order to appear tough, it's sad. I mean, it's
Right.
really hurtful that this is the idea you have of who you have to be. I wasn't angry with the brother. I felt I was hurt. Like, it's this is your perception of the world. There's something has to be done about this because it's not just held by you. This is the idea that a lot of people sit on, is that they have to be war torn in order to be recognized.
That deep
That
right.
if I'm in peace, I'm gonna fade out of existence. Nobody's gonna know me. Nobody's gonna. Let me give you a little bit of information. Nobody knows you anyway. Think about all the things that you hide from everybody. Think about all that inside stuff that you don't let people see. So that means that people only have this much of a perception of who you really are. So how much do they really like you? How much are you really doing this for them? They don't even know who you are. So all of this dying and going to jail and losing that you're doing for people that don't even know who you are. You see what happened when we pass on, we get put on a t-shirt and then hung on the clothes rack. Come
Mhm.
on, family. Is it worth it? What
Hmm.
Missy say? Put the gun down and the work or some shit like that? My bad.
Mhm. Mhm. Ah,
I
you
need
good?
to.
You good? We getting
Well, I'm
down to
sorry.
about we've been here about a good hour, about hour and 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate everybody that been tuning in. I've been keeping track of all the people that's been tuning in. We Alabama, Tennessee. You know what I'm saying?
Love,
The
love.
big, so people are tuning in. The word is gonna get out. We want to thank everybody for, you know what I'm saying. We ain't done with the show yet. I just want to send
Oh,
my
I,
flowers. Got to get these flowers out to the people that been tuning in. I hope y'all been educated, being fed. I hope you spiritually being fed with everything that these brothers are bringing, because this is a real situation. This is reality at its
yeah,
at its peak, and it's just time. I feel like it's time to just, we take a stand. We do something. Let's kill
and
all
that's
the talk. Let's just stand on action. Let's stand on business. That's what it
please get
is in 24. Standing on business.
Awakening
that's it.
Big
Get it
business. You know what I'm
done.
saying?
That's
you
right.
know.
and rising, and we
Please help.
and awakening. And I like what
That's,
you said, man. Every voice has a choice. See, these
that's it.
Hmm.
things
Voice has a choice.
inspire me, man.
Hmm.
Every voice has a choice, bro. Like, do you understand the measure of just them three words?
I was told that by OGMI, every voice got a choice, and I stood up and I'm like, hey, I got to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? No matter, it's gonna be sacrifices, it's gonna be struggles, it's gonna be turmoil, it's gonna be trial and tribulation. We gonna go up and down, but it's just staying on that path and knowing that the outcome. I mean, I got kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my kids raised up like that. I got girls, so I don't want my girls raised up out here with what's going on. I'm not gonna speak on it because I see it. I see it every day. I'm in the entertainment business. I see it as it comes. I see it as it go. But I want to raise strong black women amongst all of the demonetizing that they're trying to do to the men and women. You feel what I'm saying?
It just goes with us the way we keep telling our kids to shut up, and then they grow up feeling like they ain't got a voice.
True.
See, here's the thing, and you're absolutely right about that. Because when we train our children or teach our children how to use their voice, but that goes back to the parent knowing the same thing, which is
Yeah,
why the re-education process is necessary. A lot of people fear education because it will actually be a spotlight into what they lack. Um, a lot of us like to find out what we lack so that we can build in those areas.
Right.
yeah.
So, where in some situations you will find yourself being ridiculed, and I see this all the time, brothers being ridiculed for what they don't know. Um, that doesn't happen here. In the big
Yeah.
we, if you don't know something, we're gonna make sure you reach that potential. If that's what you really want to strive for, then you got brothers that's on the go. Like I said, sometimes we 24 hours trying to find stuff that we can send to people to help them in their endeavors. Because the idea is to get everyone doing what they love to do. That way they don't mind doing it. See, as long as you feel like you're being forced into a situation, then it's natural to rebel because it's
Yep.
unnatural to you. It's called cognitive dissonance. So you're being moved out of areas that's comfortable to you, your thought process. Um, in fact, I think it's cognitive dissonance,
We
something
got
like
a
that. But
comment from Rashawn A. Whitestone. Peace and blessings.
yeah,
Big weed from the ambassador Rashawn. You know what I'm saying? He kicked in.
peace and
He was
blessings, man.
tuning in, you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? He part of the big weed. He's an ambassador, you know what I'm saying?
shit, beautiful thing. And as long as the brothers are being the change out there and they're doing the things that we did say we would do, um, like I said, it's a simple thing, but it does take discipline and it does take dedication because you have to go against what you've been programmed to do. And like I said, a lot of people get caught up on the surface level issues, but if you look at it, there's a system in this country that's being fed, and that's the only thing that matters is that that system keeps moving. Everybody's expendable. So um, we have to really look at what the problem is. We have to get away from all of the distractions and look at the truth. You know, it's it's not enough to talk about what's being done. So, like I said, we need action, but individual action until we can find those like-minded individuals who are willing to come together and um, put in on this common cause. You know, but like I said, this goes all the way back to those brothers that are incarcerated. I'm not getting away from that one either. There's a lot of you brothers that are locked up, and if you are watching this by some strange chance, I don't know, but or if you get wind of it, y'all know somebody that's locked up. It's a lot of brothers in there that are in their law library a lot, and they're learning how these laws work and how these things are written, and so on and so forth. Right now, you brothers have the potential to work together and basically almost be one of the biggest paralegal uh, things in the world. Because y'all network with one another and y'all work on cases and y'all can prioritize them according to who's going through what, who's up for this, how long this person has been in, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you have to realize your potential. You have to wipe the matter from your eyes and realize that you have gifts, you have skills, you have talent. And until you're true to yourself to where you can bring those things together to truthfully benefit from, because the true key to success is to synergistically leverage the value added of diverse competencies whose sum is greater than its individual parts. And all that means is if I can lift 100, you can lift 100, together we lift 300. Then we take that 300 and we leverage it with somebody who can provide more and get us what we need to go out here and make these moves. Because we're just looking at me, it's like, nah, that's not enough. But the power of we is enough to get a second look. You know, when we come, we're reckoning power because we're diverse. We're coming from all angles. So when each
Right.
one of y'all are adding what y'all have to these pots, I guarantee you these brothers start getting motions in their cases. And I'm not saying, hey, send it up, shoot it to somebody, let somebody know what y'all find. None but time, baby. I was there. We all were there. None but time to dig into things that are beneficial to you. We out here working on things to help y'all when y'all getting out things that y'all need to know about, things that y'all going to experience, things that are going to be different no matter what you hear while you're in there. There are certain things that's going to change when you come home that you need to know about in order to not go back. So it's it's a
Goodness,
lot, man. It's gonna take us
right.
to save us. It's gonna take all hands on deck.
Hmm.
You
Let
know,
You
me pass
know,
this mic. Y'all know
something
how
to
I
me.
do.
we'll hear from David a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Let him chime in. You know, I want to keep you guys, I want to hold y'all up because I know everybody got a life outside of the radio and the podcast. So, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I was
We
listening,
fed
brother.
we
Same time. I was trying to, saying, orchestrate everything on my computer with this other stuff I got going on as far as my company wise and getting everybody straight in different places they need to be at as far as all the brothers and sisters that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, as far as their work jobs and they sit where they need to be in place. So I just wanted to. I'm listening at the same time to you guys because y'all family. We all family right here.
Mr. Barksdale, could you please expound on some of the things that you are functioning on out there, helping people as a big we ambassador where you at, Chicago, Indiana, wherever you go, really? Like, let us know some of these things that the attributes that you actually can provide and help people around the world.
Well, what I do is I'm saying the big we, you know what I'm saying that well, man, you know what I'm saying because listen, I brought every walk that they call them organization. I call them walks of life, you know, and I put every walk of life or every walk of life at one table. You know, right today, I got different walks of life, you know what I'm saying, with me, and I got them jobs. I keep the Federal Workplace Center door open. Got 39 guys out of the Federal Workplace Center, got them jobs, got them on their feet. And we also got a lot of them, show them how to own their own apartments, and show a lot of them how to own their own house without putting a dime down. I got the states. I go speak to 300 people twice a week in the prison systems. I got 183 people out of cardboard boxes and got them sheltering on their feet with jobs. And I took the guys off the street, off them corners, and they different organizations that they say, I call them different walks of life. Got them jobs, they all driving one of the vans. I increased the company to help these guys, help women's and men's to better life. Because too many mamas crying and babies dying for me. So I have others help domestic battered women and children on a daily basis. You know, these are things I do every day as I'm doing right now as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Not just with what I'm doing with my actions as well. And so I help a lot of people to show them a better way. You know, find themselves, find their greatness in them by getting them opportunities. And once they got the opportunities, I step out of the way, show them how to get there. They find out they go from there and they find their own passion. They start creating their own avenues, start creating their own opportunities. And it has taken so many people, thousands of people got a chance to better their life through this process. And it's this is all the big we. It's called saying we are stronger together. So unification will save a nation. Separation, as I always said, was destroy a nation. That's why I said it takes us to save us. These are the things I'm doing, and what I'm doing right now in Chicago is I go and get the guys in the neighborhoods and have them go into the neighbors, go knock on the neighbors' doors. You know, I just brought up, so it's all been in the making right now as we speak. Go get a petition, have every neighbor on the block sign a petition, and now they put about $10, $20 together, and they open up their own. Then they say how you always had a big mom. You know, you had a big mom in your neighborhood. You know, saying have them
Uh-huh.
start cooking meals for the community. They sell the meals. Yeah, now we got a black community selling meals. We selling meals in our community again. That vacant lot over there. It's just, these are some of the things that's going on right now. The vacant lot over there. We putting a fence around that lot, starting digging up the soil, planting seeds and making tomatoes and cucumbers and things of that nature, and we're growing our own crop. So these
Yes,
are
sir.
things that's happening in my life that I'm helping others. We all doing out here together. And this is what the big we are, the JDRL Vision Mission, the Jeff, David, Larry, Rico Vision Mission. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We on a vision mission to help those better themselves and find themselves. Within themselves, you know what I'm saying, to become greater than that. Another way, we're putting the neighbor back in the hood.
Right. There
That's
you
right.
go. That sounds good
Put
there.
the neighbor back
Yeah.
in the hood. So remember that? Put the neighbor back in the
And
hood.
also in the menu. Also in the menu. Look here.
Also, I just wanted you to expound on a little bit of it, man, because just your attributes alone give people a whole lot of inspiration, man, and what strong doing, things that I can try to do in my neighborhoods and because I try to get all over the place, man.
Yes,
Ohio,
sir.
we try we dealing with a lot of political laws and endeavors and things like that. Our street values, we have our own little problems out there in the streets, but it's more of a community situation involved more than just a political aspect. But we dealing with more of getting guys that's locked up good times and things like that. Me and one of the brother actually petitioned
Yeah.
that Columbus, Ohio, a couple years ago, and it's actually happened. So a lot of guys that's undeserving of time. The 3-year gun spec has been pushed out a long time ago out there in Ohio. So and they still sentencing people, over sentencing and stuff like that. Even if the cat did it, don't give him all that time, just because he was black. We don't know because they doing it to everybody now. So we trying to divert that racial boundary of thinking that we doing it's just us getting it when they doing it to everybody out there in Ohio.
Oh
So
yeah, everybody we doing not only us. Yes, I understand that. Cause I
Yeah.
go to court for guys every day, bro. I go
Uh,
get guys off of house arrest. I get guys out of jail every day. So I understand that. I go to court,
so
you know, said and put presentation together for them, and they come home. You know, I
nurse,
Yeah.
understand that.
get
Yes, sir.
involved
I understand.
in things that we are trying to do in our communities. Not everything Strong doing, a brother Trope doing with his or giving us a introduction into the world and putting us on radio. People need to learn these attributes that we actually have or can do or can help produce or whatever it is like that, because you can do anything for your neighborhood. Open up a
Let
chat.
me
You know what I
let
mean?
me jump in. I know I've been running my mouth, but I want to salute.
It's okay. You family. We do this all the time. We me and you and
I
KD
know.
Bill all the time. That's what we
Yeah.
do.
I
Now the
heard
world
it.
gets a chance to see us together do it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they got to understand.
We got we got a whole lot of great ambassadors out here, man. A lot of community partners, a lot of people that are supporting the Big League movement. And like I said, it's about the power of community, the power of family, the power of collective effort. And regardless of recognition and things of that nature, we're doing it because it needs to be done. We're becoming the changes that we want to see. And it's a lot of people that have picked up that torch. At this moment, the flames and the smoke aren't seen the way they will be soon. And that's because a lot of people are getting that fire. A lot of people are getting that hot seat. They standing up. And enough is enough, and they're doing what it needs, and they're becoming who they need to become in order to rectify those issues in their communities. And I just want to acknowledge each of you, each of our community partners. Um, it's, it's not an easy task to care for those and set yourself out to be basically unappreciated in a lot of circumstances. You'll be surprised how much slack from people that don't want to see this happen. But like we said, it's a victory mission, and failure is not an option. So those that stand in the way will be um, rolled over, in the nicest way to put it, because we're not stopping, and it's for our babies. And if you can't understand how important it is for those of you that haven't became a part of this victory mission, if you haven't realized that if your community is nice and this community is bad, there will always be a problem. If the
Right.
resources are shared equally, then we don't have to feel unsafe when we go to this side of town because they have the same things we have. So, if we can eliminate that they're trying to take it from us and they have it all mentality, and we want, then we can eliminate a lot of the issues. And we can't say that it's the people on Capitol Hill doing it because we're the people that vote for them. We're the people that can remove them.
Well,
So
then
if
what
we're not
what we need to do is put our own people on, creating our
and
own order, create our
this is
own
the thing,
Congress, our
and
own governor, our own
I think
mayor.
KD spoke on it earlier when he was like, we got to put into these young brothers and get them educated. And
Yes.
the ones that are showing that they excel in these areas, we need to but invest in them. But like I said, it takes the community because hey, this little brother is a hidden gem because we don't talk to each other. I don't know my
Right.
next door neighbor, his kid has a 5.0. I'm at the graduation, I didn't even know a 5.0 existed. When they said all these kids with these 5 point whatevers, I'm amazed. It's little walking computers. So it's like, yeah, like, and I'm listening to these children and I'm realizing how um advanced they are and how much they can possibly handle and how we're sugarcoating and treating them like they so fragile when we need to be real with them because they can help us advance. We need everybody, including them.
Right.
But we have
Right.
to train them up the right way. We have to give them the right values because we can do and say, but guess why these music industries are able to do what they do? Because we're buying that BS. Guess why the gun sales are still there? Because we're paying for it. All of this
Mm.
stuff right here, we have the power to change. We have the power to change. We know it's a problem if we stop supporting it. The little videos where people walk around knocking people out and fighting constantly. Why are they still around? Because we all click on it to see somebody get knocked out. We do these things not understanding the true detriment it's causing. We don't understand that these are seeds being planted, that these behaviors are acceptable. These are seeds being planted that are going to grow later on and turn into deviant behavior to where this young 16-year-old boy thought he was playing Grand Theft Auto and killed somebody. Now he's being charged as an adult. And it's like it was a moment that went too fast with a baby that had a gun he should have never had.
Action
Um,
change.
where is the community outcry for this baby instead of, oh, he's bad, lock him away forever? They don't appreciate life because they don't know what life is, because everything they see, everything they're being like I said, it's killing me because psychology says they notice. They know what these things do, and yet it's still okay to pump them. And then they say, hey, it's the parents' fault, but you know that you keep the parents away from the house and work. So please tell me y'all ain't trying to set our babies up. I'm
Right.
sorry. Please tell me that this ain't what the game plan is. But check this out for those that's running the households. Please tell me that you can't see the trap and you're gonna keep playing it. Yeah, we gotta work them jobs for a time until we get to where we want to go. Make some sacrifices now so that you don't have to spend your life away from your children while they grow up. Invest in yourself. Go back to school. Do whatever you got to do to not have to work that dead end job for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Hmm.
That's
Don't
it.
don't
True.
retire when you're 80 years old and you can't enjoy the money. You got 5 years left, and now they tell you can start working.
We changing the motto from survival to living.
Listen here,
Right.
man. We didn't got comfortable in a position we should have been trying to get out of.
Yep.
Oh
Right.
It's
yeah.
time to break the
From
cycle, man. It's time to break the cycle, and it starts with each one of us. Everybody out there listening, watching, they hear this, they bump across it. If you're not fighting, if you're not trying to make the change, you're part of the problem.
Right.
And that's the truth of
That's
the
right.
matter is because you're not blind. Everybody living where they at know that there's a problem. These laws,
Hmm.
guess what? You got a constitution, and we're gonna make an amendment that we got to keep voting on instead of just, hey, do away with the one little clause that said that, hey, these people were different, and let's stick with the all men are created equal and all men deserve all these rights and all that. Why was it
Yeah.
so technical and difficult to fix that? Why do we have to make all these amendments and changes when all y'all had to do was cut the bullshit, erase that line, and call it what it is?
Right.
Look at, man, we was trying, hey, look, it is what it is. They did this right here. Admit you messed up, man, and go ahead and let's progress. Let's move forward.
Because
But
it showed that it is. It showed that
there's a
it
lot of
is.
right, there's a lot of wrongs that got to be right. And the thing is ain't nobody going crazy. We ain't even got to do it. It can happen tonight and tomorrow morning. Everybody can be home. Y'all just do what y'all do. Ain't nobody saying
Hmm.
that. We didn't even notice what happened. We just know people showed up at our house that had been wrongly convicted. It's okay. We won't tell nobody. Y'all do what y'all do. But I know
right.
y'all watching, so okay.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Uh, but no,
Well,
man.
them.
On the real note, one more thing, bro, and I'm through. Um, y'all, y'all out there, man, try to find like-minded individuals, man, and get together and build things, man. Trust me when I tell you there is power in unity. And stop saying you gotta like people and be clear. You go to work every day with people you don't like and you make money for somebody else. Deal with these brothers in your community that's struggling just like you to put food on their tables, and y'all come together and do something positive, legitimate. Get at us. We got you. We got ideas. We got things we'll help walk you through. We got repro. We got a whole new approach to make you look at things and see how strong you are, how you can overcome these things. Any one of us, open line, we're on Facebook, Instagram, all these places. The big we is everywhere. When
Hmm.
the need is there, we appear. We always on call.
Right. Right.
So
Oh,
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
come on, man. And we're trying to get a hotline out there too. Advice hotline is coming soon for y'all to
Oh
ride
yeah.
y'all to
We
call and
definitely.
talk. We can deal with a few of these issues on a personal note. Confidentiality is 100%. Is there. So all
Hey,
things to
I'm
come.
always
We do
open.
have.
Anybody need to talk to me, I'm always open too. You know that.
Yeah, yes indeed.
Yeah, we
Yes indeed. Every
definitely.
one of these brothers are, hey, listen, we might as well came from the same mother. I love these brothers to death. Like this is
I love you
family.
too, brother. I love both of y'all.
That's
Already
it.
I love all of y'all. Shit.
All of
love.
y'all, you know what I'm saying? All the family, man. And this is how we move forward as one. It don't matter who
That's
you
right.
talking to. I promise you, this is one thing. The big we is one. We don't do all of
Right.
that old whatever you got going on. Everybody is important. Everybody contributes who they are to the
That's
pot.
right.
Now we
Right.
do have a direction, and we do have things that help us stay within the guidelines of what's expected. So please don't understand that there is no big eyes and little U's, but there is no guidance. We do have guidance because we are trying to accomplish things, and the only way to accomplish things is to have a clear plan of where we're going and how we plan on getting there, and everybody doing their shit. And with
Self
that, is love extended to all my brothers and sisters. And salute
KD,
to
you want to
all.
give your closing remarks on this show? You know what I'm
well,
saying?
no, I can't couldn't have said it no different than this brother said it, man. We've been doing this big we thing for a few years now too, man, and I'm happy to see the progress with it. And thank every brother and sister out there, every young youth that pay attention, listen to it. Uh, I'm always showing out on Facebook about the big wheel, posting something that needs to be good or can be good for us to listen to, man. Even if it's music, hey, I like the groove, I like the jam. Tune in to me, man, and let's talk about it. You know, talking to any one of these brothers, like this man just said, man, I love these brothers like they came from my mom's womb and came out the same pop line. Three amigos, you can call us if y'all want to. It really don't matter. It's big we, regardless. No big we is big we. Okay, so we here and we here
Right.
for the public and the people, man, globally, man. UK, different countries, Italy, China. Hey, let's get it. Let's talk about
Right
it. We want to do it. So yeah.
Mr. Barksdale, you want to give any closing remarks after we get on out the church?
I want to say, man, blessed be the day that the we, the big we is here to stay, and always be here. You know, because without the we, there's no I, no me or you. You know, but
That's
the
it.
we what changes everything.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying? That's what makes us stronger together. That's what I say, hey, we're gonna make this thing move to the top of the world. The whole world gonna see. You know what I'm saying? It's about us saving us, about us helping us, about us changing us. We're gonna change the world together, y'all. And tomorrow, just
Amen.
tune in tomorrow. The original OGs, my episode, me and Larry, gonna be there.
Okay. See there, see
Don't
there,
miss
see.
it. Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. So y'all pretty much got everything in the whole. This is the Solution Radio podcast. It's the Big We podcast show. We will be doing this again, so y'all keep this thing locked. You know what I'm saying? These guys ain't going nowhere. They here to help you. We here to help you. We emphasis on we here to help you. All you got to do is extend the hand. Hey, we here. You know what I'm saying? And I want to send a shout out to everybody listening, tuned in. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of good information that was passed tonight. You know what I'm saying? I hope your soul was fed. I hope everything was wonderful in the experience on the Solution Radio. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to keep giving you good broadcasting, good positive messages, and keep the positive movement going. And again, your voice is the choice, has a choice. It is all of that. You know what I'm saying? And then some. We're going to back out of here, man. But appreciate you guys for coming on, man. Hey, much
Already
love and respect. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure we'll
if
talk after the show. You know what I'm
get this
saying?
Yes, sir.
stream tag me in it so I can get it until I be able to learn how to put my streams live on our pages, man.
Okay, okay.
All
I got it set up like that. So y'all can get, you know what I'm saying? We'll chop it up.
Too.
right.
Yeah, we'll chop it up, man. Hey, to
No,
everybody in America, in the world, man, peace, love, and respect. All that. One love, we are one.
Yes, sir.
Pleasant love.
Blessings of love, y'all.